This session is all about tips and insights to coach the whole of the client, which essentially means enabling your clients to, one, harvest their whole body's knowledge, experience, and wisdom, and two, partner with their three brains, the head, the heart, the guts, right, to transform and then progress toward their desired outcome. So again, I've designed a handout with seven items in it that I hope can be a good companion to you. You'll get it from coaching.com website, right? First step in this endeavor is, before the session, prepare yourself energetically to be a catalyst of transformation with your whole being. Second, at the very start of the session, enable your clients to adjust their energy to the required level for sustained and deep introspection. Three, connect the whole of the client to the conversation before you ask what could be a very valuable objective for the session. And then four, invite your clients to make sense of their energy shifts, and emotions, because there is a lot of sense behind that matters, yeah? And five, unleash your clients' imagination and intuition. And six, enable your clients to simplify their thinking and their learning, especially towards the end of the session. And seven, empower your clients to trigger solid progress in their reality, which means once the generation of ideas and possibilities is done, then we want to convert them into solid action that will withstand the hiccups of daily life, right? And that will really happen. So in the handout, right, you will find on 3 pages some insights and then tips about those 7 kind of good practices, right? For instance, in that first item, before the session, prepare yourself to be energetically yourself and be a catalyst for transformative work. I just say, if you're happy to meet your clients, if you are kind of in love with the potential that is inside of the client and will burst in the session, right? And also still like a calm lake and always authentic and vulnerable, and you saw me being that with Isabel, right? Then your clients will feel valued, will be calm when they need to be, and see themselves clearly. That's the tactical advantage for a client, to be calm, right? And they will be authentic and vulnerable all the same, yeah? So here I'd like to perhaps invite you to revisit my first webinar with coaching.com 6 years ago about 10 insights and 10 tips to coach at your very best. The first insight was, coaching is an act of unconditional love for the potential of our client. In other words, it means when we come loving that potential, we expect the best from our clients, they never fail to offer it, right? And so that brings a big smile on our face every time, from the beginning to the end of the session, mostly. Yeah. Breathe deeply enough to become an anchor of calm when you need to, right? And again, bring your whole self, your humble self to the session, to give your client the permission to do the same. Yeah. So I want to make sure I don't spend too much time, because we want to have a conversation and take on your questions and also value your insights, right? Let me go to this one quite quickly. It's about, at the very start of the session, enable the clients to adjust their energy level to the level required for sustained deep introspection, right? And of course, the one-on-one in coaching is clients must be coachable, right? So there is no need to start a session if clients are kind of all over the place, cannot concentrate, right? So as I mentioned in our previous session together today, right? Take care of their pressing needs, cleanse their mind, perhaps invite them to take a few deep breaths, and you can ask these questions that you can read towards the bottom of the slide. Okay. So again, no need to take screenshot this time. You'll have the slide in the handout. Yeah. 3, connect the whole of the client to the conversation before you ask them to choose a very valuable objective for the session. Yeah, we need to dig deeper before we ask that question about the objective, right? Because each objective for a session must be potentially life transforming. That's what we paid for, right? But then clients typically bring the top of the iceberg to the conversation. So we need to dive deeper, and then we can do so with questions such as, what would you like to explore today? Not discuss or talk about it. Yeah. How is that topic important to you at a deep level? How does your heart feel about it, right? What is your gut sensing about it, right? And perhaps may I invite you to take a few deep breaths, look deeper within yourself, and tell me even more, right? And then we have a wealth of information before we ask the client what objective could be very valuable for the conversation. Yeah. Okay, number 4, invite your clients to make sense of their energy shifts and emotion. That was my topic last year, right? With coach like Einstein would, right? And so very briefly, I've put for you here a reminder that energy never lies. Emotions can be faked a bit, right? But energy, no. So it's a main partner for the coach, right? The client's energy. Yeah. And then you can help the client make sense of their energy or energy shifts by asking simple questions. Of course, you have to ask permission when you make observation. May I share? I believe I sensed a special energy or energy shift or emotion when you said ABC. Did you sense anything? I did that with Isabel just a moment ago, right? What could it be about? Where is it in the body? What color does that energy have? What message does it carry for you? Right? And then, wow, we deep, and there's great learning emerging for the client. Yeah. Number 5 is unleashing your client's imagination and intuition, right? And here, some insights will be that, as Einstein said, imagination and intuition are more important than knowledge. So let's work to produce them, right? But also they are conduits to clients in a world of possibilities, and they are very fragile. So we want to work gently with clients' imagination and intuition, right? And not scare them away by being cognitive, perhaps, right? When the client starts to unleash their imagination or offer an intuition, right? And that's where also we want to be super careful not to pollute clients' imagination or intuition with our own words. That's where I recommend we are as silent as possible. We ask questions with our eyes, not our words, right? Like that, we're not polluting. Yeah. When we hear a metaphor, of course, we want to give a chance to our clients to explore what messages that metaphor can carry for the client for their real life, right? And then we must scrupulously use the words of the metaphors if we ask questions about it, right? To again stay in the inner world of the client where that metaphor came from. Yeah. Invite visual clients to draw. I mentioned that before. And then if you do so, right? So then clients produce a drawing. Then again, it's very sensitive because the drawing is the client, right? We want to be super delicate and not make any assumption about what the drawing contains, right? So we can question the shape, the color, but not make assumption about the shape. So if you see a child, don't say, "Tell me about that child here." But perhaps it's not a child, right? Tell me about that shape here, right? If you question the directions of the features on the drawing, the various sizes of the elements in the drawing, and the shades of colors used, right? And then you will get great insights, and with the imagination and the intuition of the client. Yeah. Number 5, very briefly, I'm sorry for the speed, right? Again, it's just an introduction to the document. Enable your clients to simplify their thinking and their learning. So that's towards the end of the session, before action taking, right? With the benefit to first, clients anchor their learning, and two, it makes it actionable, right? As Einstein said, if we can't say something simply, it means we don't understand it well enough, right? So you can invite client to summarize. Don't do it for them, right? That would be fraudulent, right? Because it's difficult, you can invite them to breathe before you ask them to do so. May I invite you to take a deep breath and then summarize in one sentence, right? Usually it's too difficult, right? So then the client will tell you 5 sentences, and then you put out the big smile again, right? Each time I challenge my clients, I put up my biggest smile, right? So they survive the challenge, right? And then, yeah, so if they tell you 5 or 6 sentences, when you ask a 1-sentence summary, then ask gently the question again. Yeah. Invite clients to simplify. If you teach this to a kid, what would you say? You see so many ways to invite clients to simplify their thinking. And you can ask also, when you ask the client to share their learning, that they simplify it to make it very actionable. Yeah, and then that goes well. And finally, it's about at the action stage session, right? To make sure there will be solid progress in the reality of the client's life. Yeah. And I love this quote from an American general: "No battle plan ever survives first contact with the enemy." What can happen to a coaching action plan, right? So we want to make sure the action plans of our clients are robust, and that there is in the client the energy and the agility to make them happen, or an adapted version of them. And so one very, very important thing is the energy of the client at the end of a session must be congruent with the task they're going to take. And you noticed at the end of the session with Isabel, I said, okay, I feel your determination and the energy you have, and I'm sure you will keep yourself accountable as you always do, right? That was because it was a short session, right? We had only like 17 minutes to do the session max, right? Session normally is 1 hour, right? In a real session, I would have taken time with Isabel to go through the action planning, what stuff could derail it, and then ask her to project the energy she will use to make that action plan happen, right? So when I ask that to clients, the first time, okay, they don't really understand what I mean. So I explain again, yeah, I want you to imagine what energy you will need to carry out that action plan, right? And then project it to me. And then, okay, they try to project it the first time, never works. It's too weak. And then I smile about it, invite them to project it stronger. Then I start to feel something, and I say, can we dial this up a bit, right? So then they project it even stronger, and I usually ask a 4th time, and then they've taken the habit to gear up, turn on the energy they need to make whatever they want to make happen. Yeah, so that's a very, very great exercise. Challenge any sign of lack of confidence, such as maybe perhaps I think Isabel said I think, or something like that, or perhaps, and I repeated that, right, to hold her accountable to something better than just I think or perhaps. Yeah. And with that, it's time to enjoy your questions and also your good practices. Feel free to add them into the chat box. So this call is super valuable for everyone, right? And we're going to have our fireside chat. Again, apologies for rushing you through this. The idea was just that you have a sense of what's in the document. Yeah. And then, and also kind of complement a bit what we discussed in the previous session. Now let's have a talk, and feel free to unmute yourself as Dominic said, right? And also feel free to share and ask anything in the chat box, right? Yeah. So who'd like to go first?
Yeah, so just an invite.
Like second. Yeah.
Yeah, an invite for everybody. Click on the react button. There's a hard button. Click there and use the raise hand function if there's something you'd like to share or ask directly.
Oh, yeah. Julie, please unmute yourself, Julie, and I'll put you in big screen here in Bangkok. Julie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, my voice isn't very strong today. So I posted a question in the Q&A, but mostly it's about I really think you make an important point that it's important for the client to really settle into the beginning of the session. But I've noticed sometimes I see clients and they're rushed and they've just come from another meeting, or especially with online, they log on and they've immediately left another previous meeting or something. And I say, what do you need to be present? And they say, oh, I'm fine. And they just want to get straight into it. So I know it's like we have to accept that the client knows how they are, but sometimes I think, no, you're not fine, you need something else. But what would you say to encourage clients who say they're fine when you have a sense that actually they just need something to help them join?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I have exactly the same experience. All my clients are senior leaders, right? And they all come super rushed, right? And they are totally uncoachable, right? And so I never ask the question about what they need right away. I always chit chat. I make a joke. I say, oh my God, the energy you have. Oh, whoa, what happened? Or something like that, right? Playing the fool, right? And they love it. And then they download, oh my God, yeah, I had the meeting with this really bad guy, right? They are usually not so polite, right? And yeah, tell me about it, right? And I had a wow. So they download all, and then I say, all right, thanks. And just before we start, is there anything we need, right? So bringing humor so that, whoa, oh, they stop playing the role, right? Otherwise, they will keep, no, I'm fine, let's go, let's make some value from this, right? So my objective is this. Whoa, uncoachable, nothing happened. Huh? Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah, that's great,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for the question, right? And then please. So then we have Anita. Yeah. No. Sorry, Youssef, and then Anita, and then Kay. Yeah, Youssef, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jean-Francois. Thank you for a great session once again. It's really amazing to see how you adapt different approaches each time I attend one of your sessions. For today's session, one thing that really struck with me is when you asked permission to share your emotions. Something that some of us, we may refrain from doing. We ask permission to share opinions, but it's the first time I see a coach asking permission to share emotions. So can you just elaborate on that? What was the purpose? Was it to make Isabelle, or I'll let you explain that. Thank you.
Yes, the intention was to go deeper. Yeah, you see, Youssef, my purpose is always to go deeper and deeper and deeper. So the first step was after 3 minutes to ask Isabelle what her guts had to say about whatever I forgot already she wanted, right? Okay, guts, right? And then, wow, then we get something a lot more important. And then the emotions, then she was going to bypass them, right? And then wow, and then transformation, right? And then the sun leaving, and oh, whoa, right? So always it's go deeper with the guts, the energy, or the emotions. So you say that's the tactic behind. Make sense? Yeah. Thanks a lot, and thanks for bringing this up. Yeah, thanks. Anita, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jean-Francois. Sorry about the cuckoo clock in the background.
No worries.
I love your sessions, and I love the magic that you create in every session. What's coming up for me is I was so moved, and at some point I was sort of moved to tears, not because the session was sad or the client was sharing something sad, but just the raw quality of, there was a raw honesty and authenticity to your coaching. And I think it moved me to tears. So, you know, as coaches, very, you know, you have, I don't know, 10,000 plus many thousands of hours. How do we build that muscle?
Yeah.
Bringing that raw honesty.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Anita, for a beautiful question. I would say by making the brave decision to bring our whole vulnerable self to the session, it's really a decision, and that happened to me quite early in my coaching career. I was suffering from the imposter syndrome, having had to coach very senior executive when I was a 1 or 2 year old coach, right? And I was very young as compared to them. And I was doing atrocious coaching. And my mentor helped me understand that I just have to be a humble thinking partner, right? And then, one day I was suffering so much from being the shittiest coach in the world, I was thinking, right, vis-a-vis those giants of business, that I did the jump, right? My pain and afforded me the risk taking, right? And then the magic happened, right? So then I became super humble and vulnerable as a coach, and the magic happened. I hope that helps, Anita. Thanks so much for a so important question. Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks.
Thank you.
And Kay, please unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Isabel was so forthcoming. She was almost like, you know, a surprise box ready to pop. But I'm curious about how you handle a client who continues to say, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
Horrible. Yeah, horrible. So and we've got them, right? Because you know, I'm an executive coach, right? So I have 70 guys or ladies a month, right, who are very serious people, right? Yeah, like Isabel is, right? At times, right? But then, so it's important to make it fun, right? To make it a good time for the first session. So for the first couple of sessions, okay, right? So they come to have a good time, and then they drop the armor. And then when they say, I don't know, then say, well, what I typically do, okay, yeah, I have no clue either, even if I know. I have no clue, right? But anyway, it's not my job to know, right? So I have no clue either. Shall we stand up and take a few steps in the room, right? Yeah. Each time we stand up, we get a new idea, right? It always works, right? And now another tactic case is in case it's not, they don't know, it's like more devious. It's like they don't want to know, right? Then probably I would say, yeah, and the energy is not there. You know what? Why don't we put this topic on hold and we look for something that is more valuable, more pressing to you? Yeah, and then sometimes I don't say, oh no, but it's important. No. And they take ownership for it, right? Yeah. Okay. You don't like your chocolate ice cream? Okay, put it aside. Let me give you some vegetable. No. I will eat my chocolate ice cream. It's the same, right? Thanks, Kay, for the question. Don't say, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt, Doris. Just a time check. We have time for one more question. Then I have several sentences to say before we depart for IM sessions. Doris, sorry so much. Please continue.
It's totally okay. Totally okay. I'm just going to actually make a comment because what I'm noticing, and your energy, I've listened to you for several times. Your energy comes forward in such a beautiful, authentic, amazing way. And it makes me also think, because a lot of the time people think, oh, coaches need to be a little bit withdrawn and more reflective and quiet. And here you're coming with immense energy into your session, and you energize the client to really, you're doing the contagion energy. You are bringing it into the room, and they have no other choice but to be lifted up and to match yours. And I think that's an example for so many coaches in this space to aspire to do. It's not about always bringing it down and being this calm, but actually bringing it up into the room. And so I've learned from you. You have been absolutely inspirational. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, you just embodied what you were saying, right? I mean, you gave us energy, Doris. Thank you so very much. To everyone who raised their hand, we have this, what the name? Dominique, chat room or whatever after the session, right? Please ask and share what you wanted to ask and share in that area, right? I can interact with you over there, right? And I will be happy to, of course, right? Perhaps not tomorrow or the next day because I'm a little bit busy, but before the end of the week, right? What's the name, Dominique, about that space where we continue the conversation?
Yeah, so we have the community space, a community post dedicated especially for Jean-Francois' session today. I can drop a link to that to everyone for your convenience, where you can post some of the questions that might have left unanswered. And like Jean-Francois said, he will get to them by the end of this week. Let me fetch this immediately, and then I will invite everybody to go back into the main webinar so you can continue the discussions about today's contents in the implementation mastery sessions. This invite is especially for the facilitators whom we have here. While there will be a 10-minute break between now and the start of IM sessions, I kindly ask all facilitators to join us there immediately so that we can promote you to a panelist role and get you your designated implementation mastery room. So that's it. Let me now link to everybody Jean-Francois' post in the community so you can leave any additional questions there. And that would be it. So yeah, popping this in the chat box now.
In the chat box, right? So the link, so we can continue the, okay, beautiful. I will copy it, right? Wonderful. Okay, great. Thanks a lot for all the beautiful, inspiring questions. Thanks for taking time on your busy Monday to be there. It feels so good. Big gratitude to you all. Dominique, thanks a lot for making this happen. And I wish you a great week and a lot of love for all you do and for your clients. Take care of yourself, right? Thanks. Bye for now.
Take care, everybody. See you in the implementation mastery sessions. Bye.